Good afternoon, all. With the election finally over in the U.S. and the new president, Donald Trump, seated, it seems that there's been a few things that need to be addressed quite readily. And there are two constitutional amendments, actually. We'll talk about one of them today, the 20th Amendment. The 20th Amendment is that of the inauguration on January 20th. It was one that allowed for certain things to be done due to time constraints back when there wasn't such thing as the internet. There was no transportation. It wasn't easy to get to and from Washington, D.C. So they made it so that the 20th was that day that president get their cabinet in place by then. That was the goal, of course. And that they could then be moved into the White House and the other person moved out. With modern technology, it's kind of gone by the wayside that something to be updated. And some of the reason for the Convention of the States that I'd like to talk about too. But we'll talk about that again on another day, Convention of the States. But today we're talking about the 20th Amendment. Inauguration Day. The one thing we saw in this most recent lame duck period for President Biden was a number of presidential pardons. The problem I have with the presidential pardons is one thing about it. The U.S. Constitution was set up with a whole bunch of checks and balances to make sure that no one person or one entity, legislative, judicial, or president, had too much power. And in this case, there's no one doing checks and balances on the lame duck session of presidential pardons, executive orders, things like that. Needs to be addressed. Because what we saw was that there were 37 felons, rapists, murderers, whatever they were, that were on death row, federal death row, that had their sentences commuted, and they no longer are facing the death penalty. How do you justify that to the families of those people who were taken from them, especially when a jury of their peers convicted them of those crimes and sentenced them to death? The president has since decided that his opinion is better than theirs. They listened to hours, if not weeks, of testimony and made a decision, a logical decision, based on the evidence presented to them. And a man, in a matter of a pen stroke, changed that and gave them an opportunity to basically live their life out in prison. 3 squares a day, a roof over their head, no worries in life except for their fellow inmates. That, to me, that's not fair to anyone. And for a president to say, I'm a better person to decide that, after a jury of their peers, again, had decided that they were sentenced to death, that's a problem to me. Again, Republican, Democrat, don't care. It's one that bothers me every time when they commute a death sentence. It's a problem to me unless someone was unjustly accused or unjustly convicted, which is very rare. It's probably like a 97 to 99% guilty rate of those convicted. So honestly, I'm not all that concerned. If something comes out that says someone was innocent, then you know what? Get it back in trial and get it taken care of before they are sentenced to death. But to let a president go carte blanche on presidential pardons is a problem. So I think we need to have a Convention of the States, again, as I was saying, to revise that amendment, because it's something that Congress, the incoming Congress, not the lame duck Congress, the incoming Congress should have a right to look at and review those last-minute presidential pardons and determine if they are correct or not, based on not just their affiliation, Republican or Democrat, but based on evidence that was presented and what made the president decide that he had the right to go ahead and overturn that. It's just one of those that, again, Inauguration Day needs to be moved within 3 to 4 weeks of the election. Once it needs to be certified within 2 weeks, and none of these states should be taking 2 to 3 weeks to count their ballots, because, again, modern technology says it shouldn't be happening that way. It should be done, tabulated in person, paper ballots, tabulated that night. Everyone stays till they're done. Then they go home. We certified the election. The president steps into office by Christmas Day, not this month and a half after Christmas. That's a problem for all that want to say it's not. Bring it in the comments. That's fine. If you'd like to hear more topics like more conversations like this, please let me know in the comments. I appreciate a follow, a like, a subscribe, whatever you'd like to do at this point. It helps boost the page's algorithm and gets people to come and watch. Anyway, have a good day. Again, I didn't say my name. My name is John Brown, and it pays to be polarizing. Have a good day.